Our wealth has been stolen from us. And that's why we see so much poverty today. And that's why we're also seeing right now, we're seeing people using these cards, right? They go out and they try to support themselves on these government food programs with these cards. And what that has done is, although it has allowed them, people that are using these cards, to be able to hide their situation, it's hidden the effect of what's happening in our economy from us all. Because right now they said that there's 43 million people, I think, on the food stamp program, now that's these cards programs. But this is supposedly the highest number we've ever had in this country since the Great Depression. We're hitting depression-level numbers right now. This is the greatest issue happening in our country. This is what needs to be hammered over and over again. And the system in many ways is rigged, because there are people in this room and throughout our communities that have skills and can provide labor, and yet the system is set into place so that really it's criminal to work. And what I mean by that is the certification regulation process that they put into place is supposed to go ahead and help regulate our economy, is actually preventing people from entering into profitable and legal enterprises. And so we need to figure out how we can restore again a sense of really a real economy. They call on Wall Street, they call it the type of economy where neighbors are trading with each other and neighbors are providing different goods and services to each other. They call that a cottage industry. I call that the real economy. Because if people can actually produce food for one house and cook for another, and provide this industry, this is a real economy. It's not Wall Street, it's not the banks, it's actually self-sustaining, self-sufficient communities that can come together. But there are so many regulations that basically criminalize work, and this has been happening under both the Republicans and Democrats, and it's a rigged game, and it needs to stop. And so what I propose is we need to look at legislation at the local, the state, and the federal level. We need to find out what's preventing people from working, what's criminalizing work, and we need to remove those so that people can enter a profitable market without any interference. And that's not what we're seeing right now, because it's easier right now to for lobbyists to buy influence so that they have a lock on the market and other people cannot enter into an open and free market. So I'll end with that, but thank you very much, and I appreciate it.
One of the things, again, that was conspicuously absent in my Republican opponent's jobs program was anything he would actually do about it. He'd look into it, he's concerned, but at some point you have to cast some tough votes. He even had the audacity to mention investments in infrastructure as a possible solution. Investments in infrastructure, better known as the stimulus package. We fought for summer jobs from January, all last year, all through this year, and we were blocked. We passed summer jobs all through the House time and time again, but they were blocked by members of his party. The federal budget can do a lot about jobs, and we know it because we did it. In 1993, when he passed that budget, record number of jobs. Now, we suffered the political consequence because it required tough votes. When the Republicans came in with all their unpaid-for tax cuts and wrecked the budget, they also wrecked the economy. Worst job performance since the Great Depression, so we have a choice. Record jobs, worst jobs. And so that's what we're looking at. One of the things we need to focus on, of course, is education. If people are going to get out of poverty, they've got to get an education. Most of the decent jobs in the future require education past the high school level, so we can't have people dropping out. I don't want to abolish the Department of Education. A couple of days ago, my Republican opponent said he did want to abolish the Department of Education as an indication of his support for education. If you talk about dropping out of school, if you ask anybody on the Education and Labor Committee, who is leading the charge in dropouts? There are three major bills dealing with dropouts in that committee, and mine is one of them. One thing you can do to eliminate poverty, you can't eliminate poverty while you maintain discrimination. And my opponent just finished bragging about his support for the, quote, faith-based initiative. Let me tell you what that does. In the 1960s, we had a provision, changed the law to require that anybody taking federal money couldn't discriminate in employment. That was since the 1960s. And if you insist on discriminating, their barrier exists to you getting federal money. The faith-based initiative eliminates the barrier, allows you to take federal money and say, we don't hire Catholics, Jews, or people that belong to First Baptist Church South Richmond. You can do that under the faith-based initiative. You can discriminate in employment. If you're discriminating on religion, let me tell you that has racial implications. And if we're going to stand up against discrimination, if we're going to tell a businessman what you can do, what you have to, who you have to hire, who you can't fire with your own personal money, you got to stand up and prohibit discrimination in federal contracts. That's not popular. He's going back to his Republican friends, bragging about the fact that you can discriminate now in employment with federal monies because of the faith-based initiative. But I'm surprised he'd come to the Crusade for Voters and brag about his support for discrimination. You can't eliminate poverty if you allow the discrimination. We need to eliminate discrimination. We need to improve education. And we need to pass budgets that create jobs, not cost jobs.
All right.